Commander Zix looked out of his ship window at the blue and green planet below. Earth looked small and quiet from space. He had seen many worlds like this before. Most of them had simple creatures that barely knew how to make fire or build houses. Zix had been exploring space for over 200 years. He worked for the Kepler Coalition, a group of smart alien races that traveled the galaxy together. His job was to find new worlds and study the creatures living on them. Some creatures were smart enough to talk to. Others were just animals. The ship's computer beeped softly. "Commander, we are ready to scan the planet," said the computer in a calm voice. "Start the scan," Zix said. He sat back in his chair and waited. This was always the boring part. The computer would look at everything on the planet and tell him if the creatures were worth meeting. As the minutes passed, Zix thought about his last mission. He had visited a world where tall green creatures lived in trees. They were nice but very slow. It took them a whole day just to say hello. Before that, he met creatures that looked like giant butterflies. They were beautiful but could only think about flowers and sunshine. The computer beeped again. "Scan complete, Commander. The results are interesting." "Tell me what you found," Zix said. He expected to hear the usual report. Simple creatures. Basic tools. Nothing special. The dominant species calls itself humans. They have built cities across the entire planet. They use metal and electricity. They have flying machines and floating vessels. They even have small objects that orbit their planet. Zix sat up in his chair. This was unusual. "How advanced are their weapons?" "They have explosive weapons that could destroy entire cities. They also have smaller weapons that shoot metal pieces at high speed. But Commander, there is something strange." "What is it?" "These humans have only existed for a very short time. Their civilization started just 10,000 years ago. But they have advanced very quickly. Much faster than any species in our records," Zix frowned. "Most smart species took millions of years to develop. His own people, the Vex, had taken 3 million years to learn how to travel between stars. How fast have they advanced?" "In the last 100 years, they went from riding animals for transportation to flying through their atmosphere. In the last 50 years, they learned to split atoms and leave their planet. This speed is unprecedented, Commander." "That is very fast," Zix agreed, but he was not worried. Fast development often meant a species would destroy itself. They would make weapons too powerful and end their own civilization. "Are they fighting each other?" "Yes, Commander. They have had many wars, but they do not seem to be weakening. After each war, they become stronger and build better technology." Zix thought about this. Most species either lived in peace or destroyed themselves. These humans seemed to do both. They fought each other but still grew stronger. This was new. "What about their planet? Is it a safe, easy world to live on?" "No, Commander. Earth is quite dangerous. It has extreme weather, natural disasters, and many deadly creatures. The humans live in places with ice, desert heat, and poisonous air. They have adapted to survive in all these places." Now Zix was really interested. Most smart species came from safe, comfortable worlds. His own home planet had perfect weather and no dangerous animals. It seemed these humans had learned to be smart while also learning to survive in a hard place. "Show me their broadcasts," Zix said. The computer filled the air with sounds and pictures from Earth. Zix watched humans doing many strange things. They climbed tall mountains for fun. They dove deep underwater where they could not breathe. They ran long distances until they were exhausted. They seemed to enjoy challenges. In one broadcast, Zix saw humans exploring a cave system. The cave was dark, wet, and dangerous. But the humans went deeper and deeper, making maps and taking pictures. They were not running away from danger. They were studying it. "Commander," the computer said, "I have been analyzing their entertainment programs. They create stories about traveling to other worlds and meeting alien species. They seem to expect that other life exists in the galaxy. Do they fear meeting aliens? Some do, but many seem excited by the idea. They make plans for how to communicate with aliens. They practice by trying to talk to animals on their own planet. They are preparing to meet us." Zix felt a little uncomfortable. Most species were terrified when his ships arrived. They thought he was a god or a demon. They never expected him to come. But these humans were actually waiting for someone like him. "How many humans are there?" he asked. "Over 7 billion, Commander, and their population keeps growing." 7 billion. Zix's entire species only had 2 million individuals. Even the largest coalition species had less than 1 billion members. "Are they united under one government?" No, Commander. They have many separate groups that often disagree. But when faced with a common challenge, they work together quickly. Zix stared at the planet below. These humans were nothing like what he expected. They were numerous, adaptable, and advancing fast. They lived on a dangerous world but thrived there. They fought each other but also worked together. They expected to meet aliens and were preparing for it. For the first time in his long career, Zix felt nervous about making first contact. Something told him these humans were different. He just did not know how different they really were. "Prepare the landing party," he ordered. "We will make contact tomorrow." As his ship moved closer to Earth, Zix wondered if he was about to make the biggest mistake of his life. Commander Zix chose the landing spot carefully. The Nevada desert was far from human cities. It was empty and flat, perfect for a quiet first meeting. His ship landed softly on the sand just as the sun was rising. "Are we ready?" Zix asked his team. "Yes, Commander," replied Officer Krill. "The translation device is working. The environmental suits are prepared. The greeting gifts are loaded." Zix put on his protective suit. Earth's air had too much oxygen for his people. Without the suit, he would die in minutes. The suit was heavy and made it hard to move, but it would keep him alive. "Remember," Zix told his team, "these humans are primitive. They will be scared when they see us. Move slowly. Speak gently. Show them our gifts. Make them understand we are friendly." The ship's door opened with a soft hiss. Zix stepped onto the sand. The desert was quiet except for the wind. But not for long. Within an hour, human vehicles appeared on the horizon. They moved fast, leaving trails of dust behind them. Zix counted 12 vehicles approaching from different directions. This was not what he expected. How did they find his ship so quickly? The vehicles stopped in a circle around his ship. Armed humans got out, but they did not point their weapons at him. Instead, they set up strange devices that beeped and clicked. Other humans wearing white coats joined them. These humans carried boxes full of equipment. One of the white coat humans walked toward Zix. She was small compared to him, with dark hair and alert eyes. She showed no fear at all. In fact, she looked excited. "Hello," the human said. "I am Dr. Sarah Chen. I study life forms from other worlds. We have been waiting for someone like you." Zix was surprised. His translation device worked perfectly, but the words confused him. "Waiting for us?" "Oh yes," Dr. Chen said. "We knew other intelligent life must exist somewhere. We have been preparing for this day for decades. May I ask what planet you come from?" This was all wrong. Humans were supposed to be frightened. They should be bowing down or running away. Instead, this Dr. Chen acted like meeting aliens was normal. "I am Commander Zix of the Kepler Coalition," he said, following the standard greeting protocol. "We come in peace from the stars. We wish to learn about your species." "Wonderful," Dr. Chen said. "We want to learn about you too. Your ship is fascinating. The hull appears to be made of a metal we do not recognize. The energy readings are incredible. How does your propulsion system work?" Zix stared at her. She was asking technical questions about his advanced spacecraft. Primitive species were not supposed to understand such things. "Your questions are very specific," Zix said carefully. "Well, yes. We have been studying the possibility of faster-than-light travel for many years. Your ship obviously uses some method we have not discovered yet. The energy signature suggests you are bending space-time somehow. Are you using some form of exotic matter?" Zix felt cold despite his suit's heating system. This human understood concepts that most coalition species took centuries to learn. "How do you know about space-time manipulation?" "We figured out the basic theory about 100 years ago. A human named Einstein started the work. We just have not built the technology yet. But we are working on it." Behind Dr. Chen, other humans were setting up more equipment. Some devices were pointed at his ship. Others were pointed at him. The beeping sounds were getting faster. "What are your people doing?" Zix asked. "Oh, just basic scans. We want to understand your technology and biology. Do not worry, our scanners cannot hurt you. They are just gathering information." "You are scanning us." Zix was shocked. Coalition protocol was very clear. The advanced species did the scanning. The primitive species got scanned. Of course. This is the most important scientific discovery in human history. We need to document everything. Your suit suggests you cannot breathe our atmosphere. Interesting, that means your homeworld has a very different environment than Earth. Dr. Chen walked around Zix, studying him from all angles. "Your body structure is similar to ours, but larger. The suit design is efficient. Your people are clearly very good engineers, but the materials are unusual. This is not any alloy we know about. While she talked, Dr. Chen held a small device that made soft clicking sounds. She was scanning him just like he had planned to scan the humans. Dr. Chen, Zix said, we should follow proper first contact procedures. We need to establish basic communication first. We are communicating fine, she replied. Your translation device is excellent. Much better than our computer translation programs. How does it work? Is it reading brain patterns or just converting sound waves? Zix realized he was losing control of the situation. Everything was backwards. He was supposed to be the one asking questions. The humans were supposed to be amazed by his superior technology. Our translation technology is quite advanced, Zix said. I am sure it is. We have similar projects, but nothing as sophisticated as yours. Yet. Give us a few more years and we will figure it out. A few more years? Zix's people had needed thousands of years to develop translation devices. More humans arrived. They came in different vehicles and wore different clothes. Some carried cameras that recorded everything. Others brought bigger scanning devices. One group started setting up what looked like a small laboratory right there in the desert. Dr. Chen, one of the newcomers, said, the initial scans are complete. The ship's hull is definitely not terrestrial. The energy source is unlike anything in our database. We need to get closer for better readings. Excellent, Dr. Chen replied. Then she turned back to Zix. Commander, would it be possible to see inside your ship? We promise to be very careful. We just want to understand how it works. Zix could not believe what he was hearing. You want to examine our spacecraft? Well, yes. It represents technology far beyond our current capabilities. Studying it could advance human science by decades or maybe centuries. Surely you understand our curiosity. Officer Krell spoke to Zix through his suit's communication system. Commander, they have somehow bypassed our outer security systems. Their scanning devices are reading through our ship's hull. How is this possible? Zix looked around at all the humans. They worked quickly and efficiently. Their equipment was primitive compared to Coalition technology, but it was working. They were actually gathering information about his ship. These were not the simple, frightened creatures he had expected to find. These humans were intelligent, organized, and fearless. Worse, they were treating him like he was just another interesting problem to solve. For the first time in 200 years of exploration, Commander Zix began to wonder if he had made a terrible mistake coming to Earth. 3 days had passed since first contact. Commander Zix sat in his ship reading reports from his team. None of the news was good. Everything he thought he knew about humans was wrong. Commander, Officer Krell said, entering the command room. The humans have built a permanent research station around our ship. They work in shifts so someone is always watching us. Zix looked out the window. Krell was right. The humans had brought large tents, power generators, and communication equipment. What started as a simple meeting had become a human science project. They never stop working, Zix said. Even at night they use lights and keep studying our ship. It gets worse, Commander. They have figured out our basic shield frequency. Their scanners are now reading deeper into our ship's structure. Zix felt sick. Coalition shields were supposed to protect against any primitive scanning technology. How is this possible? Dr. Chen says they treat every problem like a puzzle to solve. They do not give up until they find an answer. Through the window, Zix could see Dr. Chen talking to a group of new humans. She had been working for 18 hours straight, stopping only to drink something called coffee. Zix's people would have collapsed from exhaustion by now. His communication device beeped. It was a message from Coalition Intelligence. Commander Zix, the message began. We have analyzed the data you sent about human civilization. The results are disturbing. Zix opened the full report and began reading. What he found made his hands shake. Human technology was advancing at an impossible rate. In just 100 years, they had gone from riding horses to splitting atoms. They had invented flying machines, computers, and space rockets. The report showed that humans were advancing faster than any species in galactic history. But technology was not the most frightening part. The report included biological studies of humans. They could survive in temperatures that would kill most coalition species. They could go without food for weeks. They could adapt to high mountains where there was little oxygen. They could live in deserts, frozen wastelands, and even underwater for short periods. Zix read one section twice to make sure he understood it correctly. Humans regularly did things that would be considered torture by other species. They ran long distances until their bodies screamed in pain. They lifted heavy objects repeatedly to make their muscles stronger. They even jumped out of flying machines with only a piece of cloth to slow their fall. And they did this for fun. This makes no sense, Zix muttered. The report continued. Earth was not a safe, comfortable world. It had violent storms, earthquakes, floods, and erupting mountains. Deadly diseases spread among the population. Dangerous animals hunted humans for food. Yet instead of finding safer places to live, humans had spread to every part of their dangerous planet. Most species avoided danger. Humans seemed to seek it out. A soft knock on his ship's door interrupted his reading. Dr. Chen stood outside holding a cup of her coffee. "Good morning, Commander," she said when he opened the door. "I hope you slept well." "I do not require much sleep," Zix lied. He had not slept at all. "The reports were too disturbing." "That is interesting. Different biology, I suppose. I wanted to ask you about your home world. What is it like?" Zix was suspicious. "Why do you want to know?" "Well, your environmental suit tells us a lot. Your people need less oxygen and probably live in a more stable climate. I am guessing your world has fewer natural disasters than Earth." She was right, but Zix did not want to admit it. All worlds have challenges. Oh, I am sure they do. But Earth is particularly harsh. Most of our planet tries to kill us regularly. Storms, earthquakes, diseases, predators. We have learned to survive it all. Dr. Chen smiled. "It makes us very good at adapting to new situations." "You seem proud of this," Zix observed. "Of course. Surviving on Earth has made us strong. We can live almost anywhere now. In fact, we are already making plans to live on other worlds." This was what Zix had been afraid to hear. "Other worlds? Oh yes. We have identified several planets in nearby star systems that we could make suitable for human life. Mars is just the beginning. We are thinking much bigger." Dr. Chen pulled out a small device and showed Zix a picture. It was a map of local star systems with many planets marked in different colors. The red ones are too hot, the blue ones too cold, but the green ones could work with some modifications. We call it terraforming, changing a planet to suit our needs. "You plan to change entire planets?" Zix's voice was barely a whisper. "Why not? We have been changing Earth for thousands of years. We build cities, redirect rivers, and clear forests. Changing other planets is just a bigger version of what we already do." Zix stared at the map. There were dozens of green planets marked as suitable for human expansion. His own home world was only 3 star systems away from one of them. "Dr. Chen," Zix said carefully, "how many worlds do you think humans could live on? With the right technology? Hundreds, maybe thousands. The galaxy is full of possibilities. We just need to develop better space travel first. That is why meeting you is so exciting. Your ship proves faster than light travel is possible." She said it so casually. Hundreds of worlds. Thousands. Zix's entire civilization controlled only 12 planets, and it had taken them millions of years to reach that many. "Of course," Dr. Chen continued, "we would want to make sure we do not disturb any existing life. We are not conquerors, Commander. We are explorers and builders. We want to understand everything and go everywhere, but peacefully." Zix wanted to believe her, but the reports he had read painted a different picture. Humans had a history of taking what they needed to survive. They were not cruel, but they were determined, and determination combined with their rapid advancement made them incredibly dangerous. "Dr. Chen," Zix said, "what if other species already live on those worlds you want to change? Then we would work with them, of course. Share technology, learn from each other. The galaxy is big enough for everyone." She paused. "Unless they tried to stop us from exploring. Humans do not like being told there are places we cannot go." There it was. Hidden beneath her friendly words was a warning. Humans would cooperate if possible, but they would not be stopped. Zix looked at Dr. Chen with new understanding. She was not just a curious scientist. She was a representative of a species that saw the entire galaxy as their future home, and they had the intelligence, determination, and adaptability to make it happen. For the first time in his life, Commander Zix was truly afraid. The emergency message reached the Coalition homeworld in just 2 hours. Commander Zix had used the highest priority code possible. This meant immediate danger to all Coalition species. High Council Leader Vex received the message while eating his morning meal. He was old, even by Vex standards. He had lived for over 800 years and had seen many strange things in the galaxy. But nothing had prepared him for what he read in Zix's report. Impossible, Vex said to himself. He read the report again, then a third time. According to Zix, humans had advanced from primitive tools to space travel in just 10,000 years. Most coalition species needed millions of years for the same progress. The humans also lived on a dangerous world that would kill most other species, yet they thrived there. Worse, they were planning to expand across the galaxy. Vex called an emergency meeting of the High Council. Within hours, representatives from all 12 coalition species had gathered in the Great Assembly Hall. Council members, Vex began. We face a situation unlike any in our history. Commander Zix has discovered a species that may threaten our very existence. The council chamber filled with worried whispers. Council member Thrak, representing the warrior species, spoke first. Are these humans planning to attack us? Thrak asked. His people were strong fighters, but they preferred to know their enemies. Not directly, Vex replied, but they are planning something worse. They want to expand across the entire galaxy. They see every world as a potential home for their species. Council member Lyra, whose people were master engineers, looked confused. How is this possible? According to the report, they barely have space travel. How can they threaten us? Vex activated a holographic display showing Earth and the surrounding star systems. Because they are not thinking like we do. We expand slowly and carefully. We take centuries to prepare for each new colony. Humans think differently. The display showed the human expansion plans that Dr. Chen had shared with Zix. Dozens of worlds were marked for future human settlement. They have already identified hundreds of worlds they could live on, Vex continued, and their technology is advancing faster than any species we have ever encountered. Council member Nix, representing the peaceful trade species, raised a concern. Perhaps we should offer them membership in the coalition. We could guide their development and control their expansion. I considered this, Vex said. But look at these biological reports. New information appeared on the display. It showed human capabilities compared to other coalition species. The results were frightening. Humans could survive in conditions that would kill most coalition members. They needed less food, less sleep, and could adapt to extreme environments. They reproduced faster and lived longer than most species. Their population was already larger than several coalition species combined. They are natural survivors, Vex explained. Their entire planet has trained them to overcome any obstacle. They do not accept limitations that other species consider absolute. Council member Quinn, whose people were master scientists, studied the data carefully. This is extraordinary. Look at their learning rate. They absorb new information and apply it immediately. Most of our species take generations to adopt new ideas. Humans do it in years. There is more, Vex said grimly. He showed them examples of human behavior that Zix had observed. The display showed humans doing dangerous activities for recreation. They climbed mountains, dove into deep water, and jumped from great heights. They seemed to enjoy challenges that would terrify other species. They seek out danger, Vex said. Other species avoid risk. Humans embrace it. This makes them unpredictable and very difficult to control. The council chamber was silent for a long moment. Finally, council member Zara, the oldest member after Vex, spoke. I have studied galactic history for 600 years, she said slowly. Every dominant species in our records reached a point of comfortable stability. They found a good way of life and stopped changing. But these humans, they never stop growing and changing. Exactly, Vex agreed. We have been measuring species by their current technology level. But humans are not at their peak. They are still climbing toward it, and they are climbing fast. Council member Thrak asked the question everyone was thinking. How long do we have before they become unstoppable? Vex consulted his calculations. According to our projections, humans could develop faster than light travel within 50 Earth years. Once they have that technology, their expansion will begin immediately. 50 years, Lyra repeated. That is nothing. We need decades just to plan a new colony. Which brings us to the real problem, Vex said. Humans do not just plan, they act. Dr. Chen told Commander Zix that humans do not like being told where they cannot go. If we try to restrict their expansion, they will see us as obstacles to overcome. The implications were clear to everyone in the chamber. Humans would not be controlled or contained. They would expand across the galaxy whether the coalition approved or not. What are our options? asked Council Member Nix. Vex had been dreading this question. We have three choices. First, we can try to limit their technological development. Stop them from developing faster than light travel. Would that work? Thrak asked. Probably not. They are too resourceful. They would find another way or develop the technology on their own. Second option, Lyra prompted. We can try to guide their expansion. Offer them alliance and hope they will respect our territorial boundaries. And if they refuse? Quinn asked. Then we face the third option, Vex said quietly. We prepare for a galaxy where humans are the dominant species. The council chamber erupted in shocked voices. Never in galactic history had one species threatened to dominate all others. Council member Zara raised her hand for silence. Vex, what is your recommendation? Vex looked around the chamber at representatives of 12 advanced civilizations. They had ruled the galaxy for millions of years. They had solved every problem and overcome every challenge through cooperation and careful planning. But humans were different. They did not solve problems the same way. They did not think the same way. They were like a force of nature, unstoppable and unpredictable. I recommend we begin immediate preparations for all three options, Vex said. We must monitor human development closely. We must prepare diplomatic approaches, and we must prepare our defenses. Are you saying we should prepare for war? Thrak asked. I am saying we should prepare for change, Vex replied. The age of coalition dominance may be ending. The age of human expansion is about to begin. We must decide whether we will be their partners, their subjects, or their enemies. As the council members filed out to inform their homeworlds, Vex remained behind. He stared at the holographic display showing Earth, that small blue planet that might soon reshape the entire galaxy. For the first time in 800 years of life, Vex felt truly afraid of the future. 18 months after first contact, Commander Zix had a new job title. He was now the official Human Coalition Liaison. It was not a job he had wanted, but he was the only coalition member who truly understood what humans were capable of. He sat in his new office on Earth, looking out at the sprawling human city of New York. The buildings reached toward the sky like metal and glass mountains. Millions of humans moved through the streets below, all busy with their endless projects and plans. Dr. Chen knocked on his door and entered without waiting for permission. This was very human behavior. Other species always waited to be invited in. Good morning, Zix, she said, using his name without his title, another human habit that made him uncomfortable. Are you ready for today's meeting? As ready as one can be for such discussions, Zix replied. Today was important. Representatives from all 12 coalition species were coming to Earth for the first Galactic Cooperation Summit. It was a fancy name for what everyone knew was really happening. The coalition was officially recognizing human dominance in the galaxy. Dr. Chen had been promoted too. She was now Earth's Director of Xena Relations, in charge of all contact with alien species. In just 18 months, she had learned more about galactic politics than most coalition members learned in decades. The other species are nervous about meeting humans in large numbers, Zix said. They have only met me and my small team. I understand their concern, Dr. Chen replied. But they need to see what we are really like. We are not monsters. We are just very determined. Through his window, Zix could see the construction site where humans were building their first starship. It was not just any starship. It was designed to travel faster than light. Human scientists had studied Zix's ship for only 6 months before figuring out the basic principles. Now they were building their own version, and it would be better than anything the coalition had ever built. Dr. Chen, Zix said, can you promise me something? What is it? When your people begin expanding to other worlds, please remember that other species have lived in this galaxy for millions of years. We have our own homes and cultures. Dr. Chen sat down across from him. Her expression became serious. Zix, I want to be completely honest with you. Humans will expand across the galaxy. Nothing can stop that. It is what we do. But we do not want to destroy other cultures. What do you want? We want to understand everything and go everywhere. We want to build new things and solve new problems. We want to turn empty worlds into gardens and explore every corner of space. She paused. But we also want friends and teachers and partners. And if other species do not want to be your partners? Dr. Chen was quiet for a moment. Then we will work around them. We will not attack peaceful species, but we will not let them stop us from exploring either. This was the answer Zix had expected. Humans would cooperate when possible, but they would not be contained. The door chimed, announcing visitors. Zix's assistant, a young human named Mark, entered the room. Director Chen, Commander Zix, the Coalition delegates have arrived. They are waiting in the main conference room. Zix and Dr. Chen walked through the corridors of the United Nations building. They passed humans working on dozens of different projects. Some were designing new spacecraft. Others were planning colonies for Mars and the Moon. Still others were studying the Coalition technology and languages. Humans never stopped working toward their goals. The conference room was large and impressive. Representatives from all 12 Coalition species sat around a circular table. They looked nervous. This was the first time so many Coalition members had been on Earth at once. High Council Leader Vex stood when Dr. Chen and Zix entered. Dr. Chen, thank you for hosting this gathering. Thank you for coming, Dr. Chen replied. I know this is difficult for all of you. The meeting began with formal speeches, but everyone knew what really needed to be discussed. Finally, Council Member Thrak, the warrior representative, asked the direct question. Dr. Chen, will humans respect Coalition territorial boundaries when you begin your expansion? That depends, Dr. Chen answered. Are those boundaries around inhabited worlds or empty space? Both, replied Council Member Lyra. We have established protected zones around our colonies. We have no interest in taking your colonies, Dr. Chen said. But empty space is different. Space belongs to whoever can use it. The Coalition representatives looked uncomfortable. They were used to controlling large areas of space with very few colonies. Council Member Quinn leaned forward. What about worlds that are not suitable for your species but are perfect for ours? Then you should colonize them quickly, Dr. Chen said simply. We believe in first come, first served, Vex spoke carefully. Dr. Chen, the Coalition has maintained peace for millions of years through careful negotiation and shared resources. Are humans willing to work within our established system? Dr. Chen smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Vex, your system worked when everyone advanced slowly and thought small. But humans do not think small. We think in terms of entire galaxies, not just a few dozen worlds. She stood up and activated a holographic display. It showed the Milky Way galaxy with all known Coalition territories marked. The Coalition controlled less than 1% of available worlds. Look at all this empty space, Dr. Chen said. Billions of worlds with no one living on them. The Coalition has had millions of years to expand, but you chose comfort over exploration. We chose stability, Vex replied, and that is fine for you. But humans choose growth. We will fill the empty spaces you have ignored. Council Member Zara, the oldest Coalition member, spoke slowly. What you are describing is not cooperation. It is replacement. No, Dr. Chen said firmly. It is evolution. The galaxy is changing. You can change with it or be left behind. The room was silent for a long moment. Then Vex asked the question everyone was thinking. What do you want from the Coalition? Friendship, if possible. Knowledge sharing. Cultural exchange. Help understanding the galaxy we are about to inherit. Dr. Chen looked around the table. But we do not need your permission to expand. Zix watched the faces of the Coalition representatives. They finally understood what he had realized 18 months ago. Humans were not asking to join the galactic community. They were announcing that they would soon become the galactic community. The age of human expansion had begun, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. After the meeting, Zix found himself alone with Dr. Chen on the building's observation deck. Below them, the city sparkled with lights as millions of humans continued their work. Do you think we made the right choice coming to Earth? Zix asked. Dr. Chen looked up at the stars. You did not have a choice. We would have found you eventually. At least this way we can be friends. And if we had never come, then in 50 years human ships would have appeared in Coalition space without warning. This way is better for everyone. Zix realized she was right. Humans would have reached the stars with or without alien contact. First contact had not created the threat to galactic order. It had simply revealed a threat that already existed. As he looked up at the same stars, Zix wondered what the galaxy would look like in 100 years. It would be full of humans, spreading from world to world like seeds on the wind. Other species would have to adapt to a universe where humans set the pace of change. The galaxy had awakened humanity, but humanity was about to awaken the galaxy.